And just to set up for what we're going to read in this chapter, I read an article in Time magazine years ago, and I stumbled across that article this last week in preparing this message. It was called The Secret of Ambition. And it's about, where is it that people get this inner drive to change their lives. There are people out there that are really type A's, and they just have this passion to succeed. Where does that come from? And why do some have that passion more than others? That's what this article was about. And in rereading this article, I read a quote from a University of California psychologist who could have easily listened to the last two sermons that we preached in Nehemiah. Let's show this next slide, Chris. Here's a quote from this. The author writes, "Ambition is energy and determination, but it calls for goals too. People with goals but no energy are the ones who wind up sitting on the couch saying, 'One day I'm going to build a better mousetrap.' People with energy but no clear goals just lose themselves in one pointless project after another." Well, then the article went on to explore, okay, where does this passion to improve ourselves come from? Because there's no question, and the authors say this, that a lot of this is genetic. We're born, it's the internal wiring. And it's true, isn't it funny how some babies, when they're born, they just come out of the bassinet with places to go and people to see? You know what I mean? And then there are other babies, and they're quiet, they're more contemplative. They rather just sit in the corner and figure out, why do some diapers smell worse than others? And that's what their personality is like. So a lot of it is genetic wiring, but the author goes on to say that in study after study, they're learning that no matter how you're wired at birth, we are profoundly shaped by outside influences. Look at this next quote, this next slide. It's possible for other things to rewire you completely. Two of the biggest influences on your level of ambition are the family that produced you and the culture that produced your family. To put it another way, Nehemiah's chapter 1 and 2 needs chapter 3. We need vision, we need planning, and then we need people to be linked to see our lives succeed. And see, this is good news for us. Because if you're one of those people and your life is stuck in a rut, and you're just spinning in place, maybe you came from a family that didn't teach you well. Laura talked about that, and Lorian talked about that. Get kids who, the parents, maybe they don't even have a mom and a dad, and they've been shortchanged by life. They never grew up learning that they matter that much. They've developed all kinds of bad habits. They look at themselves in the mirror, and they hate themselves. Well, the good news here is you don't have to be stuck in that place. All these bad habits and bad thoughts can be unlearned if you find the right community, the right group of people. If you meet a leader or a mentor, this is where youth groups are so critical. If you find a healthier environment. This is what chapter 3 is all about.